I'll call to order the Appointments and Ordinance Committee meeting on Wednesday, July 8th at 5:34 p.m. via WebEx. If any other persons are recording this, please notify us now.
WebEx is recording and the clerk's office is recording.
Roll call.
Counselor Gwynn?
Here.
Counselor Forgy?
Excused.
Counselor Ricketts?
Here.
Counselor Bottomley?
Here.
Counselor Mayo? Doug, your microphone is on mute. There you go. Thank you. Chairman Gwynn, you have a quorum.
All right. In the event that I get knocked off and you can hear from me, if Counselor Ricketts will step in and continue the meeting if I can't.
Oh, okay.
All right. Can I have someone make a motion to accept the June 10th meeting minutes?
So moved. So moved, Ricketts.
And who is that second from?
Doug.
Okay. Those all in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions or corrections? I do want to make a quick statement, as Kathy mentioned earlier. If you would like to speak, normally I would have you write in the box that you would like to speak, and then we would address you. But Kathy, I don't have any boxes tonight.
Right.
So, let me see. Oh, chat with all might be working. I'm going to say hello and see if you all can see that box.
Yep, I see it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if anyone wishes to speak, just ask to be heard in that box, and then I will address that, and we will then comply with open meeting law, which doesn't allow for discussion in the chat box.
Ann, my wife Ann wants to speak.
Okay. And we can, we can definitely get to that, and just remind me in the chat box again, Doug, if I don't.
Okay, great, thanks.
We have no public hearings tonight. We do have a motion for mayoral appointments and then a motion for mayoral reappointments. Councilor Ricketts, can you read the motion?
Sure.
The first motion.
Move that it be ordered. Oh God, now my glasses are messing up. Let me see if I can go out to the agenda instead. Move that it be ordered that the Greenfield City Council, pursuant to Charter Section 2-10, affirms the following appointments by the mayor for a 3-year term to expire June 30th, 2023. John Mackin, Greenfield Housing Authority. Deborah Richards, trustee for the Baskin Education Fund. Jennifer Hoffman, Recreation Commission. Julia Popkin, Zoning Board of Appeals. Elizabeth Quirk, FRTA Advisory Board. Aura Jordan, Disability Access Commission. Pete Michael Smith, Human Rights Commission. Carolyn McDaniel, Human Rights Commission. Kasia Kaj Pratt, Human Rights Commission. Celine Nader, Youth Commission. Shannon Prescott, Youth Commission. Alyssa Grace Villareal-Bauer, Greenfield Agricultural Commission. And Travis McKelvey, Greenfield Historical Commission.
The motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second, Bottomley.
All right, the motion's been made and seconded. This is when we normally open this up for discussion, but I do believe there are some people that are on with us tonight that would like to talk on some of the nominees' behalfs. Is that correct?
Doug,
Doug?
your microphone is on mute.
Yes, my wife would like to speak.
Okay, I'd like to recognize Ann at this time. Just state your name and your address for the record for us, please.
Hi, my name is Ann Mayo. I live at 143 Wells Street, Greenfield. And I'm just wanted to say very briefly, I'm very pleased that Debbie Richards, but formally it'd be good to call her Deborah Richards. And Penny, you read it into the record as that, so that's great. Has offered to become a trustee for the Jenny Baskin Education Fund, and her years of experience in higher education and her also multi-year as parent teacher organization in the Greenfield schools made this even a better get. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant evening.
Thank you, Ann. Thanks for bringing that forward. We appreciate the support. The support of. I told you it's going to be a dog evening. I'm sorry. I appreciate the support of one of our reappointments or appointments. So I thank you for that. Was there anyone else that was wishing to speak on behalf of any of the nominees or appointments, I should say? All right. If anyone has anything to add, I see that Deborah Richards is on with us, and I appreciate her tuning in while we can't see anyone. I can only see her. I don't know what it is, Deborah. You're the only person I can see. Everyone else is green. So
You go, girl, then.
so we're doing well. It's in the positive direction. Is there anyone else that would like to speak from the public or any of the nominees that might be on? It's not a requirement, but if anyone would like to. I see none there. As far as my committee, is there any discussion on any of the mayoral appointments?
No.
Everyone's good?
Yeah.
Seeing none, I would ask for a vote to move this forward with a positive recommendation to a full council. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Seeing none, we will send a unanimous positive recommendation to affirm those appointments. Councilor Ricketts, could you read the next motion?
Yes, sure. The City Council move that it be ordered that the Greenfield City Council, pursuant to Charter Section 2-10, affirms the following reappointment by the mayor to the Human Rights Commission, Laureen Walker Z, for a 3-year term to expire June 30th, 2023.
And can I have a second on that motion?
Second, Bottomley.
Is there any discussion on the affirmation of the reappointment from the mayor?
I would just like to say that I used to sit on Human Rights Commission with Laureen, and she is dedicated and committed, and I'm glad to see that she's going to be continuing on.
All right. Is there anyone else from the committee that has anything to add to the reappointment? Seeing none, all those in favor of a positive affirmation to be sent to full council?
Aye.
Aye.
Any objections, abstentions? Seeing none, we'll send a positive unanimous recommendation. All right, moving on. In the discussions tonight, Clerk Scott, you were going to talk to us a little bit about the ordinance prohibiting electioneering during early and absentee voting for all elections or local elections. Can you update us on your intention, and we'll look to maybe have this on a future agenda for a vote after our discussion?
Sure. So just a little bit of background. Some of you maybe have heard it before. So this was born out of our last local election in November. During absentee voting, there were voters in the city hall and the clerk's office voting, and there was a candidate on the ballot in front of town hall who they were, asking people to vote for them and doing that sort of thing, which when you're at the polls on election day, there's a 150-foot barrier by Mass General Law that there's no electioneering allowed. I would have asked this person to move had there been an ordinance allowing me to do so, but I wasn't able to do so. So they were within their right to be out there. I didn't feel that it was respectful to the voters that were in City Hall currently voting. So I had put a request out to a clerks group that we have. If anyone had a local ordinance prohibiting electioneering at their local elections, a couple of clerks responded. I then took their comments and their ordinances and used it to create the document that is before you. I think it's fairly simple, but I'm not specifically married to any of the language as long as people are not able to do electioneering during absentee and early voting. Early voting isn't a problem for local election because it can't happen. But I want to give the voters in City Hall the same respect that is due to them on election day. And I would not like to have electioneering around City Hall when they're able to absentee vote.
I appreciate that, Kathy. A couple of quick questions. Have we looked at this language from a legal stance, or is it just from what you were able to acquire from other municipalities?
From other municipalities, it has not had legal review.
Okay. From the committee, is there anyone that has any questions for Clerk Scott? Okay.
I guess I would just say we might as well get it checked legally
Yeah.
before it comes up some other way. Because I even think, even with people that are going to be able to mail in ballots, I think many of them are going to want to just come there and drop them off. And still, I don't think there should be a gauntlet. There should be a problem.
Right.
At all. So I think it's very, very important, because some people go in there just to pay their taxes or take care of parking, and it's just too much going on out there, and it's just not right. People are there to do some business, so I really want to get this passed.
Thank you, Councilor Ricketts. I would agree. I think Clerk Scott, I think you're on the correct path. That same distance of that is by Mass General Law should be looked at in this way. So I do believe your observations and your intentions are on point. So let's move forward with this, getting a review to make sure that we have the correct language. And upon that, if my committee is in agreement, upon seeing that language, we can look to make it a motion in the future based on that information.
Sure. Thank you.
Yes, and get it done sooner than later, because the next thing, I don't want to hear that it only has to be 6 feet. So we really do need to put this in place.
I agree. Any comments from any of the committee?
Actually, I was wondering, do you think there would be any issue in looking at the map with the circles? It looks like there would be a small segment on the corner where people maybe be able to stand with signs and stuff. Do you think there would be any issue of having that circle kind of cut across Court Square?
So are you looking between the two circles by the common?
The commons, yes.
Okay, so again, I chose 150 foot because that's mass general law. If the council decided that for local elections, it should only be 100 foot, I was just looking for consistency with the,
Right.
then maybe that would help alleviate that issue.
Thank you, Clerk. We always want to try to comply with mass general law because if anything's ever challenged,
Mhm.
it helps if we have consistency, as you know.
Right.
Right.
As
Councilor Bottomley, were you thinking to allow that section so people could have a place to stand if they so chose? Was that your olive branch in that direction? Was that your consideration to that piece?
I don't know that I had a particular bent either way. I'm just thinking it could
Okay.
be problematic if there's one corner of the commons that people will want to be out with signs or whatever, that it would either have to be marked or something when there's such a small corner of it. I'm just
Well,
thinking it
we
might
can
be
definitely.
slightly problematic.
Sorry, John, I didn't mean to step on you. We'll definitely look at that and we'll take a look at the overlay. I will go in and meet with the clerk at a point before we send this out and come to a consensus.
But thank you. I definitely agree. I think I think we should have that right to have that space. So.
Councilor
Yeah.
Mayo, are you on board with this theory?
Councilor Hill Mayo?
Yeah. We didn't hear from Doug. I just don't want to move on. If
Yeah, there is.
you're muted, Doug. Kathy. Oh, there you go.
Yep.
So I'm in full believe that we should be in compliance with the state. Just as a backup, I don't want to see any problems further down the line. Although I'd love to see more opportunities, but not in front of town hall. Town hall is busy enough with what we're doing now. We could push it back to give them a spot 150 feet in compliance. That gives us full compliance with what the state allows us, and that gives full visibility of the town.
Right. All right. Thank you. I see no further discussion on this until we get to a point of legal, and then we'll put it on a future agenda.
Good.
Moving on, the ordinance to prohibit unmuffled compression release engine brakes. If anyone has any objection, I'd like to just move on and not bring this up this evening. We'll bring this up at a future time. It's not pressing.
Right. Thank you. It is not necessary for right now today. I agree.
It's not out of public concern. It was, and I talked to the counselor that brought it up and had no issue with us moving it forward. The ordinance to establish rental dwelling units, is Vice President Wheeler on with us?
He is not.
I do not see.
I had asked him to speak on this, and he's not here to speak on it. So once again, I will wait for a meeting where he's able to bring it forward to us. Is that in agreement?
I think that's a better idea, is to have him speak to it. So
I asked him at Chair's meeting last evening if he had the opportunity just to update us on what his intention was. So we'll just wait to a future meeting so we can get that update.
yep,
Is
that's
that
great. Yep.
acceptable?
Mhm.
2020 Greenfield ordinance review status updates. There are none. I make a promise to you that by our next meeting, I will have a status update on from the mayor's office.
Okay.
Is there anything else that I'm missing? Anyone from the committee have anything to bring forward?
Yes, I do. I was listening to the chair's meeting last night, And toward the end, I did hear about a desire to have committee meetings go back to being in person. And so I just wanted to say, I don't remember where that lies. I think it's going to go to President Stemple, but I really do want to keep it um, the way it is for now. I just feel like we're going to be putting lots of work on other people if we meet because they're going to go in to sanitize when we're done. And tonight's meeting is just an example of what if we had all gone there, even though it's not big in number, just the fact that we'd have to have our temperature checked, all of this, and make sure we spread out, and they still would have to clean after we left, where when nowhere else are they having meetings in person yet. So I just don't want us to start that. I
Sure.
do understand maybe at full council level, and that's maybe if there's some controversy, but at committee level, absolutely not.
Penny, I'd be in agreement with you. You know, it was I that was talking about moving in that direction. I was more interested in full council meetings with a look to how we could do it both safely and efficiently. Committee meetings at this point, I agree with you. I think we're pretty efficient in this nature, and we don't debate heavily at a situation like this. You know, the art of debate usually comes at full council.
Yeah.
So,
But even at full council, we just saw that we had 30 to 40 community members at our last meeting, and that went smoothly. So that right there showed me that, you know, let's stay on that path for as long as we can because people are learning to, you know, get online and watch us and, you know.
sure.
But I think if it gets so controversial and people really want to be in front of us and not on the screen, we could start talking about it. But I don't see any reason to start disrupting the flow of these closed buildings and all that temperature taking and everything else that it means right now.
Okay.
Just as an interesting factoid, at the last council meeting when we had the number of public speaking, there were 97 people logged into that meeting.
Wow.
Logged that,
Yeah. I
see,
kept
that's good.
watching the number go up and watching the number go up, and that's the highest number it hit. So I was impressed with us. We did a great job.
Yes,
Well,
very.
I'm sorry I missed it.
I forgot you weren't there. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, and I like that because everyone who signed up spoke. I think it was great. It wasn't like hours long meeting either. It
Right.
was,
No, that's good.
So
but it was really good.
Councillor Gwynn, I'm not sure if you can see yet, but Councillor Mayo has his hand up to speak.
I cannot see him. He
Okay.
looks a little ill to me. Green. Councilor Mayo.
Yeah, he's only green to me too.
I would like to see, even though I would like to be together and see everybody and look people in the eyes and be able to read faces and things of that nature. If Charlie Baker and the powers that be say, we already have it was in the newspaper in Franklin County area, it was a 14 over 14% rise than other counties in the area. So the problem of COVID-19 is going up. So I want to see us get a handle on that, more of a handle on that than what there is now. I mean, walking the streets in the last couple of days, I have seen multiple people not wearing masks. Either outside or inside. It just basically what came down from us from the governor was that you're supposed to wear a mask at all times. There are people that are walking around no mask at any time. The stores are getting a little strict in terms of, I've seen some signage on, if you have no mask, you don't get to go in. And I think that's great. No, if you don't have, thank God they don't, they haven't gone to the point of saying gloves as well, because that just is more of a cumbrance than anything else. But as long as the governor keeps saying it's not safe, and this venue works for us, and we have seen that it does work for us because the community is using it to even more of a capacity to attend meetings like this, and even the city council meeting. So I'd rather continue using this forum, whether it's at the committee level or at the town council meeting. That
Yep.
until we get the all I sign from the governor, I think we should keep moving and using this forum.
Right.
Thanks,
Agreed.
Councilor Mayo.
Yeah, agreed.
Clerk Scott, we moved an agenda item that is actually an ordinance to the direct next council meeting because we didn't have time to introduce it. Could we remind everyone of what that is, just so ordinances knows what happened to it?
I can in just 1 minute, as soon as I bring it up, because it's not.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. It was the ordinance for, help me. It was the ordinance for,
The mosquito control. Yes.
yes. So
Um,
that's all I really needed, Kathy. I needed that. I just blanked out it completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a mosquito control or a group.
Yes.
Would you say?
It's to become a member of a mosquito control. I'm trying at the moment to get back to the
Yeah,
to the guide.
that's fine. What I just wanted to, I always like our appointments and ordinances committee to be aware. There wasn't enough time to get it on our agenda because our agenda was already printed in order to have it on full council. So I moved it straight to full council. So we will not see it. There will be no recommendation from us.
It is to join the Pioneer Valley Mosquito Control District, and the suggestion was submitted by Valerie Bird, the health director.
All right. Seeing that, I think we're all set.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Councilor Glenn?
All in favor?
Councilor Glenn?
Yes.
Otis Wheeler just joined the meeting.
Is he?
He's here.
We were just ending too.
Kathy, can you tell us, did we adjourn?
So
Yeah.
you did not declare the meeting adjourned.
See, I wasn't quick enough.
Oh, man.
Otis, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, and I apologize. I thought the meeting started at 6.
Well, I gave you 3 minutes. Would you like to just give us, we're all done. We are just ready to adjourn. We moved quite well this evening, but could you give us a brief idea of what you were bringing forward and the intention more than the discussion?
Sure. The intention is for Director Byrd to be able to more effectively respond to tenant concerns in Greenfield. There is already a pre-rental inspection program that is open to landlords, but it's entirely voluntary and has pretty low participation. So Director Byrd suggested adopting a rental ordinance similar to the one that North Adams has in place. And she worked in North Adams prior to Greenfield. And she felt that this was an effective program over there. That it essentially allowed the city to proactively get into some apartments while there were no tenants there and identify problems before people moved in, rather than waiting until the tenants were there.
So in a vacancy period.
Exactly.
Okay. And the procedure at this point is she forwarded us the North Adams. I mean, you put forward the North Adams piece. Is that where you are with this, Councilor Wheeler, or?
Yeah, so she sent the North Adams language to me. I altered it slightly so that owner occupied homes are exempt. And my thinking there is that generally, if an owner occupies one side or one part of the building, they're generally much more responsive and less prone to neglect. There may have been one or two really brief. There was some. I changed some language to match the program that already exists in Greenfield. So the certificate of fitness for human habitation. That's language that I adopted, and there is the health department has a brochure that goes into all of the language for the program that exists currently, and I'm sure that that could be provided to your committee if you'd like to see it.
And Councilor Wheeler, as far as, has this been looked at from a legal compliance or anything along that line as of yet?
Nope, no one from legal has looked at it yet.
Okay. So, do any of the committee have any questions for Vice President Wheeler while he's on with us? I mean, I appreciate him coming forward just so we would have a verbal on the intention, and now we can take it up, at the next meeting as a discussion piece and then vote on it, the following meeting or something. I don't think there's any urgency to this, Otis, Councilor Wheeler, but I'm guessing that she'd like this to be looked at sooner than later.
Yeah, there's no exact urgency. There is an opportunity. She told me there's an opportunity for a grant-funded position, or at least partial hours for a grant-funded position, because of course the committee would want to talk about how would this program be funded. It would essentially be somewhat self-funded because there would be a cost to landlords per inspection. But as the program got ramped up, there would be some costs, but Director Bird identified a grant, and so that was part of the reason that I put it forward now, was that she thought it could be implemented sometime soon.
Councilor Wheeler, you just said something that, is this going to be an additional expense for landlords? Is this, if you're talking, when you said that it would be funded through, so does this become an additional burden? This, if it's a permit they don't have to have now, is this an added expense for each rental?
It is. There's the rental cost would be decided by this committee, or recommended by this committee and decided at full council. And I believe now the program that's in place now, which, like I said, is entirely voluntary. I want to say that it's a $75 fee for an inspection, but that would be up for consideration. Director Bird's argument, which I agree with, would be that it saves money down the road because it identifies problems before they become worse and before they turn into legal issues.
Right, and I hear that. Any other comments from committee?
Yes, I wondered, has the Landlords Association seen this at all? I'm just thinking like it's best to just get ahead of it. So I don't want it on council floor and then we start hearing from people.
Yeah, I know the Landlords Association has had, I believe, a workshop where they were invited to talk about the voluntary program that exists now. But no, they haven't been told about the
This new
proposed one. So I think they should be invited to a future subcommittee meeting. That's a great idea.
Yeah, building on what Councilor Ricketts just said, I would think once we get a draft that we're comfortable with, as discussing as the version, that version be sent to the Landlords Association for opinion before, just like we ask others, just to see if there's glaring thing. That I think Councilor Ricketts is correct in that sense, that there's no sense in putting something together that's going to blow up later because we missed something that could have been done in the discussion stage. Anything else?
No.
Councilor Wheeler, while you're there, I know this is in the EDC realm, but I got a call today about the land owner occupied versus owner owned, based on our new ordinance that was passed for multi-use, family access or whatever that discussion was. Where is that now? Is that something that's going to be brought up by EDC, or is it going to come to us?
I think, are you talking about the ADU piece around?
Right. I know EDC had asked the speaker that was talking about it to come, and now I'm getting calls asking where that falls. I know EDC handled it the last time, but is that a working process that we're going to hear about?
Yeah, it's a piece for discussion on the EDC agenda for next week.
Okay.
Mr. Lee, I believe his name has been invited, and yeah, that's where it's at. There's no action scheduled.
I just want to make sure that there's a fine line between the EDC stuff and the ordinance stuff. Zoning has always been EDC, but this I was getting calls on today. So I just wanted my committee to know that it's going to come up at EDC, but we'll hear about it because it's only in the discussion mode. Anything else for Vice President Wheeler?
Well, I wanted to thank you for bringing that up because I know, and I believe Councilor Wheeler also received a call from Doug White about changing the number from 4 to 6 for people that are in homes, that they can rent out the different rooms. And I know that he wants to bring that before council to have it changed somehow. So I asked him to reach out to you or to Councilor Dolan to get a sponsor for what he's talking about. So
yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of there's a few legs that are going to come out of this. So I just want to make sure we're on top of it as a committee. Anything else?
No.
Seeing none, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded? Do I have a second?
Second, Bottomley?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions or objections?
I got to get to school committee, so, okay.
It's done.
Okay,
The
Doug?
meeting is adjourned at 6:13 p.m.